Hey everyone, welcome back to another Mevo Live. I am Joe Capehart. I'm the Senior Technical. I'm super excited to have you on today's show. Today's show, I am joined with Will Kirkpatrick. He's going to introduce himself in a moment. However, for today's stream, we're going to be using 3 Mevo Starts, specifically for the main stream. These are all running via Ethernet, going NDI into Streamlabs OBS. And for audio, I'm going to be using this SM7B that's going into an audio mixer, going into the back directly to the camera in front of me, using that 3.5 audio input. Now, what about you, Will? What are you going to be using for today?
Hey everybody, Will Kirkpatrick. I'm a technical specialist here at Mevo, and we're using a Mevo Start on using a power over Ethernet adapter. We're using a Mevo Start that's on wireless, and we're using a Mevo Plus that is wireless as well.
That's right. So for today's show, we want to go over a lot of really cool stuff. A lot of it's going to be mostly concentrating around demoing Multicam. With Multicam just coming out, and then of course our 3-pack, which I have here on the desk to kind of show off because I think the casing is beautiful. We really want to make sure that everyone is aware of what you can do in Multicam. We want to make sure we're answering the questions that you have. So if you have questions for myself, I can demo it in Mevo 2.0. If you have questions about Multicam, we can demo it there. We really want to show you and demo as much as we can. Unlike our shows where we have Tuesday, I have a single cam show. Can't really do much and show you the screen, but for today, we have all of the screen sharing going on for both Multicam and Mevo 2.0. So as always, if you have questions, put those in the chat. Before we even get into everything, I want to go ahead and actually talk about our referral program. We actually have a referral program at mevo.com/referral where you can sign up and you can save the person that you refer 5%, and then you can earn 5% commission at the same time. And before we even get back into the show, let's go ahead and cover these sales. That way you have some time to think about whether you want to make the purchase. And if you have any questions before you go and make the purchase, we can address that with today's show. We do have the desktop producer bundle. You get a Mevo Start, a table stand, and a Mevo Start case. And we do have the you're going to be saving quite a bit of money. This is available in the US only, and it is 5/1. And then for the item sales, what do you want to talk about that for us, Will?
Yeah, we've got discounts on the Mevo Start. We've got discounts on the Ethernet power adapter and the Mevo Start case. So now is a great time to pick up a Mevo product.
No better time than now, especially with everything, with the 3-pack we have going on. If you weren't aware, you're actually saving quite a bit of money with the 3-pack alone. It's $9.99 at mevo.com for US-based customers. It will eventually make its way over to our UK and EU customers, as far as I'm aware. Marketing will probably jump in and tell me if I'm wrong, but for now, we're going to run with that. So you can expect that in the future, but for now, our stock and inventory is all in the US, and we do have limited stock and inventory. So you have to jump on it sooner than later if you're going to try to grab one of these bad boys before they go out, because they are flying. So as always, like I said, make sure you put your questions into the chat, but I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Will. I'm going to let him do a Multicam demo for you. If you're new to Multicam, this is the perfect time. He's been doing these shows basically for like the last 5 or 6 months, it seems like, but they've all been in a private beta group. So now we get to bring them out into the public and really cover all of those Multicam things. So take it away.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, we're really excited right now. We just released the Multicam version 1.0, which adds not only graphics, but also cropping and zooming, which I'll show you in just a sec. As I mentioned before, we are using 3 Mevos. The Multicam app can currently use up to 3 Mevos, and it can use the Mevo First Gen, the Mevo Plus, and the Mevo Start. So you have a great wide range. Now is obviously a great time to pick up the 3-pack, the Start 3-pack. It's a great time to get into Multicam now that we have the first version out. So yeah, so let me show you a little bit about the app, if I can get it on screen real quick. All right, so as you can see, right now we're using the Multicam app on an iPad Pro. This works for Android devices as well, so phones and tablets for Android and iOS. I'm just doing a nice iPad so you can see everything really clearly. So as you can see, we've got the 3 Mevos connected. I can switch between them extremely easily just by tapping them. You can see I've got a lower third graphic going on right now, and that's another really exciting thing about Multicam is these graphics that are so easy to use. So they're PNG graphics. I can show you. You can do the wireless multicam connection. You can connect them all via power over Ethernet adapters if you want a more stable connection. The Multicam app, if you're interested, is on the Mevo.com website, and then obviously the 3-pack is on Mevo.com as well. So really easy to do these graphics. If you're doing, gaming, maybe you want to add a little border. Maybe you want to have the game that you're playing up there. Let me switch cameras here. And let's see, if you have maybe you're a DJ or you have a band and you want to use multiple Mevos for that production, maybe you want to advertise your album just like that. We have a lot of users that are house of worship users, and they want to share the lyrics to the music that they're playing, so you can quickly and easily add an overlay just like that. And then obviously a huge popular use for the Mevo and for multicam is sports. And so you can just easily add player information. You can have who's up to bat. You can have custom scores. So this is actually both a graphic done beforehand in Photoshop. You can use free programs like GIMP. And then you add it to multicam and you can edit the information on the fly. So say I want to change the score real quick. You can do that just as easily as doing that. And there you go. You've got your updated info. You can show who's on what plate, just like that. So lots and lots of options with multicam. It's up to your own creativity. You can mix the audio sources. As you can see, I have none of them active, so you don't hear any echoes right now, but I could use both of them and just adjust the volume like that. We also have different transition types, and all of these options are really great to kind of set the mood, set the tone of your live stream, because you really want to bring people in and you want to keep them there. And multicam enables it to be so much more dynamic, so much more interesting and more engaging for your viewers. So I can show you quickly crossfade. And while I'm doing that, I'll show you the auto director feature as well. Auto director is really great, and you're probably familiar with Live Edit from the Mevo 2.0 app. Auto director will switch the cameras automatically. You can turn it on and you can set a preferred camera, which it'll switch to more often than the others. And then you can set a time limit for each camera. So right now I'll set it to 3 seconds, just so you can see how that works. And I've got the fade on as well, so you'll see in 3 seconds that it'll just switch just like that. And then the fade, you'll see as 6 seconds will slowly fade in. So this might be great if you're doing a podcast. I've seen this done really well with bands. So I'm a really big fan of both putting the camera in fade, but also with Camera Assistant. Since I do my shows usually just myself, it's really great to have the auto director feature, because it'll do all that switching for me. It'll keep it engaging and I don't have to worry about it. You can set the camera input between 360 and 1080p high. This all depends on your network configuration, your network speed, internet speed. You can adjust the video source latency as well for those reasons. So it's really, really flexible and works really well on all sorts of setups. Some really great features. Obviously, you can go live just like in the Mevo 2.0 app to all your favorite destinations, as well as custom Rtmp streams. But another great feature of multicam is actually the recording. So not only is the recording going to save to the device, and that's the output, so everything that's switched and zoomed and cropped, that all saves to the device. What you can also do is ISO recording. And ISO recording is when you have each of the Mevos recording what they're seeing onto their own micro SD card. And that's recording the entire time. It's synced up. As soon as I hit record, then it starts recording on every single one of the Mevos that I have set up. And that's really great, because even if I am missing something that's happening, if I'm missing something in the action, or if I'm just not focused on that one camera, that will be recorded. So I can bring all of this into a video editing software later on and edit it up to whatever kind of video that I want. pick the highlights. It's all there. It's all being recorded. So that's a hugely great feature. Even if you're not going live, you can do the recording. And ISO recording is really cool. So we just added crop and zoom as well. There you go. As you can see, it rotates the device. And it's the same mechanisms as the Mevo 2.0 app. You can obviously pinch and zoom. You can do quick taps. You can also press and hold, just like in the Mevo 2.0 app, to just quickly cut to that shot, quickly transition to it, and then of course slowly transition to it if you want to have more of a dramatic effect. And obviously it's taking its time. You can adjust the speed however you want in the settings, but yeah, it really depends on the kind of content you're doing and how you want it to look. All right, put it back on me there and hit done. All right. So that is Multicam version 1.0. It's a great time to test it out, give it a try. You can obviously do it with 3 Mevos, but you can also do it with a single Mevo. So really, even if you have one, give it a try, test it out. It's available now on the App Store and the Play Store. So check it out and check out our show every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Now, well, I see that you have here that your units are named Start, 3-Pack, and Plus. Is the one that says Plus, is that an actual Plus, or is that a Start as well?
That's a Plus. So we have, we wanted to kind of show the full range of what you can do. Obviously, you can use 3 Starts, but you can also use a Plus. You can use a 1st gen. It's really, really flexible.
I'm literally trying to find it. Because I see it, I can see the preview,
Oh, yeah.
I can see me, but oh, there it is. Oh man, I was
So
literally
tiny.
trying to find it. I couldn't find it. That's so funny. That's so funny. All right, so it looks like we actually have a few questions. Do you have access to the Talk Doc right now? Can you see all those?
I don't right now.
Okay, so we're gonna jump back over to me, and I will do my best at addressing these. Okay, so what we've got here is we have Sam Hastings says, will there be a fully scaled iPad version of Multicam coming soon, or will there continue to be a stretched phone version? Now, the thing about this is we are obviously this is a highly requested feature, right? So we are going to continue to develop. Obviously, if you're a Mevo 2.0 user, then you know very much that there's still quite a bit that needs to get moved over to the Multicam app. If I was to guess, and this is simply because I don't have a timeline on something like this happening, although I know it is something we would like for to happen. But if I was to guess, I would say odds are we're probably going to wait until we get more of those features put into the Multicam app before we release the iPad version. But I do see the desire to have it, specifically because I know you were using Android, right? So if he's using Android, then we know that essentially that is like a full screen. Like it completely covers the iPad, or the iPad. It covers the tablet. It looks way, in my opinion, it looks way better. I'm an Android user. I'm biased. But even Will being a Apple user, he also thinks the Android app looks better because it fully covers the screen. But eventually, we would absolutely love to make one for an iOS tablet, iPads, obviously. So we just don't have a timeline on it, but I would imagine it's going to come as soon as the features are released. Let's.
Yeah. So let's see, we've got a question from TJ. Is there an upgraded camera required for multiple camera views, or can the current cameras be used? So I think you're talking about static shots. Right now, static shots are not in the Multicam app, but it is something that we're working on adding. So check out the show on Wednesday where I preview everything that the developers are working on, and then you'll see it there first. As for your other parts, let's see. Also, does Multicam require a user to manage the live stream? Can it be scheduled to pan to different cameras at different intervals? So it can't be scheduled, but you can use Auto Director. I can throw up my iPad again real quick. There we go. And if you see Camera Assistant, so that brings you to Auto Director, and this will change the cameras automatically at different intervals. So you could set it all the way to 3 minutes if you wanted, and that's how you would do that. But it's not, you can't schedule it any more than that. And again, preferred shots, are really nice. You can do up to 2 preferred shots. I would probably do these, and it'll switch to those more often. So that's a great option. All right. Third part, can the transitions be set as a static feature, or do they need to be set for each live video? So the transitions will stay set. Whatever you set it to, it'll stay to that each time you stream. So thank you for all 3 of those questions. All right. Moving down, we've got a question from Josh. Josh says, can you add layers like picture-in-picture or replay or lower thirds? So you can absolutely add lower thirds. Let me show you the graphics menu here. As you can see, just like in the Mevo 2.0 app, you've got full screen overlay, lower third, over the shoulder, corner bug. And so I'll bring that in real quick to show you. So lower third. So this would be great, you know, if you're doing introducing somebody, introducing a player, and then you quickly add the text. Will Team Mevo. And then you can customize it by adding an image, changing the background color, and maybe your team color. And you can also adjust the opacity a little bit, just like that. Set it to left or right, and then I can quickly grab it from the top. There you go, Will Mevo. So that's how you do that right now. The other features that you mentioned, picture-in-picture, not added, but it is something that we're looking at, so stay tuned. All right, got a question from Brian. Does the mixed video record as what's streamed like the plus, or can you change the quality like the start? Let's see. So are you talking about streaming quality versus the record quality?
I think what's happening is they're asking specifically, so like when you're recording the plus, right? So when you're doing the recording, but you're also streaming simultaneously, the recording is the same quality as the stream. So any drops or anything like that obviously affects the recording, whereas the start is completely independent and the recording is full quality regardless of what happens with the stream.
So with the record to device, that will be the full quality, whatever you set it to. You can do all the way to 1080p, and that will be all full quality. As for the ISO recording, you can also set that as well. Cool, so great questions. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
guys.
Let's keep those coming. As always, you can always, I know I'm not as cool as Multicam, but I'm more than happy to demo those. So if you do have any questions regarding Mevo 2.0, I am configured and ready to share that. So let's make sure I get some action too over here. See, I've got a little setup here. We got a little wide shot. So if you have any Mevo 2.0 questions, you can also ask those. This is not specifically only a Mevo multicam show, although we do want to really highlight that specifically because the 3-pack is out. You can get it at mevo.com, $999 in the US-based stores. It's basically like a buy two, get one free almost, to be honest, because as much as you're saving like nearly $200. So if you are interested in getting the multicam, I get that it's extremely awesome to see. So if you are interested, you can go grab one of those today. We do have them in stock. As well as all of our other products, which most of them are on sale, at least for a few more days. So please keep those questions coming. Both Will and I are more than happy to demonstrate. For today, we are really using quite the setup. So you've seen the shot that I had over on the left or right down here, over here. There we go, nailed it. So you've seen the overlay that I had on my phone. So we have a really cool wide shot for one of our cameras, and it's up in the corner here. So you can actually see up there, it's actually up on like a little tripod thing. But we're using like 3 or 4 different cameras to make the show today happen. All of them are Mevo Starts, all running via Ethernet to Streamlabs OBS. And for all the switching and things, we're using a Stream Deck to kind of keep it simple because with COVID going on, of course, we can't have everyone in here on a daily basis. So that's why we have 2 separate sets. Usually Will's sitting next to me, but instead he's officially probably almost 20 feet away from me now. So we're really trying to keep things safe. So by allowing me to operate everything by myself, and then with Will's help over there on the Multicam app, we've been able to really kind of produce without having additional people here.
What's great about that is it's really the flexibility of the Mevo is shown very clearly in our 2 sets. So we have one set where we're using NDI, wired webcam, and those features with the Mevo. We have another set completely using multicam. So it really shows the flexibility of the Mevo, and it really depends on what you want the outcome to be. If you want to have a really quick, really portable, really easy to use setup, you can use the Mevo Multicam app and you're good to go. If you want to have a little bit more complexity, a little bit more control, you can also set up the Mevos to OBS. So it's really exciting that you can do both of these things with the Mevo.
Yeah, I did an interview yesterday with DJ Mike Marquez, and he was in. Of course, his whole spiel is being able to do this using for DJing, right? So we've got the 3.5 input, which makes it super great to use. But we were really talking about, like, when we were doing the interview, we were both using Mevo and webcam mode. We were both using things like eCam. I believe he was using StreamYard. There's so many functions. So not only, so say you're not using your Mevo for your production or whatever it might be, your kid's not playing sports, or you're not playing sports, but you still have Zoom calls, you have Google Meets, you have all of these things, and then you do want to go out and do a production, you can take multicam out there and do that, but just because you're not using it for this full-blown production doesn't mean you can't use it. It doesn't go up on a shelf and collect dust simply because it's not being used, because it can be used for many other things. It's not a webcam that's only a webcam. It's not a camera that can only be used for like high-end production. So it's really cool that regardless of how you want to use it, you can always rely on the Mevo. It looks like we're getting some more multicam questions. So let's just go over there and give you those.
Great. I love the excitement. All right, Wayne says, can this 3-pack be used with the original Mevo Live camera? So I'm not sure if I totally understand your question, but the Multicam app can definitely be used with the original Mevo Live camera. The 3-pack is only the Mevo Start, so hopefully that answers your question, but feel free to clarify if that did not. Devin says, having a hard time setting up Rtmp to Zoom, any suggestions? So to my knowledge, Zoom doesn't have an Rtmp input,
Yeah,
but
I think you're right.
You could certainly do Rtmp to your computer if you set up an Rtmp server, and then you could do Rtmp to your computer in OBS, and then take OBS virtual camera and bring that into Zoom if you want to have a little bit more of a complex setup. It looks like the next question's hidden a little bit from me. Joe, you want to jump on that?
Yeah, sure. So Brian's saying, and it's perfect that I can actually grab it because I answered him on the Facebook group, so it's perfect. So Brian says, I'm probably going to ask you this every time you're on. Please work on adding mixed recording to save to SD card, not just the internal storage. So as I mentioned earlier, this is a hardware thing. The issue with this type of feature is that the phone is doing the encoding, which is why we have a limitation of 3 cameras, because not every phone can handle more cameras. Encoding is obviously very hardware intensive. So by trying to use your camera, right? If you try to write to the SD card on the camera, specifically the one in front of me, if we try to do that with multicam, then not only is the camera trying to send a feed to me or to my mobile device, for multicam, it's sending a feed to me, but then you're asking it to also receive 3 feeds and then write the program, or send a feed to me and then at least receive 1 feed from the phone. So basically just the whole workflow, you're really taxing that hardware. I honestly do not see this feature as a feature that will be coming, simply because of the way encoding works. Now, I will say this, our hardware team is extremely talented. Our software team, also extremely talented. So if there is a way, I can assure you that they will push the boundaries to make it happen. However, what we won't do is we're not going to push it so far that there's a chance of failure. So one thing we don't want to do, we don't want to damage your phones, we don't want to damage your Mevo, so we really don't want to push that kind of limitation if it's not feasible. And from my understanding, it just doesn't sound like that's something that will be coming anytime soon specifically. I've not seen it anywhere on a feature list. However, I can't really speak on what's on those lists anyways, but there are some features listed on our website, so that we say it's coming soon, so that's important. So you all set over there now? We good?
Good.
Perfect. Let's send it back over.
Looks like you got a good webcam question, but let me jump in here. Ju, I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher that name. I apologize.
I did it too. It's okay.
I use the Start as a webcam on Restream. is it always best to use it as wired webcam versus NDI? So it totally depends on your use case. Wired webcam has a little bit of limitations where the stream can only be 1920 by 1080, or sorry, 720p, and then NDI maxes out at 1080p. So wired webcam is a little bit more limited. Obviously, if you need to have that range and that distance, NDI is the great solution for you. If that doesn't matter, then wired webcam is of course stable as well. And also it depends on your wireless connection, so that's a big factor with NDI. Matt says, I have a 2-camera shoot. Do both cameras need to be connected to Ethernet? Can one camera be connected and both cameras be broadcasting? So you can have, right now in our setup, we have one Mevo that is Wi-Fi. We have another that's on power over Ethernet adapter. So you can have them either way, both be Wi-Fi or one or the other. And yeah, both connect perfectly, as you know we've been showing you, and they all broadcast just as well. It really depends again on your Wi-Fi and your network. If you don't have a great Wi-Fi connection, then you might want to use the power over Ethernet adapters. If your Wi-Fi is good, then you're good with just Wi-Fi. So thanks for this question.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes into play when whether you want to use webcam mode, and that was a conversation I also had with DJ Mike, was that basically like he was using his wired webcam. I was also using wired webcam. It wasn't because my network wasn't capable, but when it comes to doing a professional stream, whether you're doing it like us or whether you're doing it like him with StreamYard or whatever it might be, wireless is convenient, but it's not something that you want to risk. Like, think about it this way, and this is how I've always said it, is this production that you're using, is it worth the risk of failure? Not because you should depend on it failing, but I mean, you shouldn't think automatically it's going to fail, but like, is it worth the risk? Can you risk a complete failure for whatever reason, a variable outside of your control? If you can't risk that, then don't use wireless. Now, wireless is super convenient. Single cam shows, do them all the time. I'll be driving from New York to Ohio today, and I'll probably stream a little bit of that using the Mevo hotspot. Super solid. However, that's a casual stream. I'm going to have maybe one person who's like, oh, traffic in New York's crazy. That's probably as many views as I'll get. For this stream, we average between 30 to 50 viewers at a time. So probably not going to risk it and use a lot of wireless. But we could if we wanted to. It's just one of those things. Can you afford to do it? Can you afford to lose viewers? Can you afford for your stream to fail? Kind of like a risk, you got to kind of balance something like that. As you can see here, we've got a really big wide set right now, so we've got cameras everywhere, and really most of these are running via the power Ethernet adapter, running Ethernet. So the one you see in front of me, well, you can't see it, but all of the cameras that you do see in this set are all running wireless, or all running via Ethernet. I am chopping this up today. I am chopping it up. All of the cameras that you see today are being ran via Ethernet. So if you are seeing a camera that's, whether it's pointing at me, pointing at Will, whatever it might be, the only shot that is not running via Ethernet is one camera that he's using for the multicam demo, I believe. And then we also have another camera that's attached to a window for that beginning scenic shot that we had. And hopefully you guys like that. If you did, let us know, because we would like to keep doing cool little shots like that. But let's kind of dig a little deeper. Let's see if we have any other questions. I really want to keep answering your questions. Will wants to answer your questions. He loves multicam. I like multicam, but I'm partial to Mevo 2.0, so I don't get left out. I mean, I set up this screen sharing so I could share with you, and if I don't get to share, I'm probably going to be a little upset, but that's okay. That's fine. Everything's fine. Let me see if I even have, you know what? That's, actually I don't. You know what? Maybe we shouldn't ask me to demo. Scott's here. Scott's our electrical engineer. He's doing things. Like I said, we have a very talented hardware team, and watch this. Hey, Scott, we need to make sure that the hardware can actually write not only just the program out to the phone. We wanted to make sure that we could write to the camera as well. You think we can be able to do that sometime, maybe? Is that something you could push?
I think it's called a firmware team.
Firmware, software. So we're going to bug the software team.
Yeah.
All right, so you heard it here. I just talked to him, just addressed him one-on-one. This is the kind of communication we get, and that's why we like to interact with you, because your voice goes through us directly to the people who matter, and they're the ones who can make it happen. I'm not out there building building cameras or writing the software. Neither is Will. We're the ones that test it. We help you. We talk to you. So if you do have feedback, like I got earlier about writing to the camera directly, the program out to the camera, that means we get to go to the engineers and say, why can't this work? And the way it was described to me previously was that it's a lot of encoding for both devices, whether it's the camera and the phone itself. But, you know, I'll go talk to the software team and see what they say. Scott said we need to go talk to software, so that's what we're going to do. And you did say you were going to ask me every time we go live, so go ahead and do that, and hopefully I'll have an answer for you Tuesday. I'll be live on Tuesday again. But we will be live tomorrow. If you're not aware, we do go live 4 times a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Mevo Camera on Facebook and YouTube. We used to say we only go live 3 times a week, but now we go live multicam on public too. So if you want to ask more questions, whether it's one-on-one with me, the show for Tuesday is the one you want. If you want to learn more about multicam, we're going to cover those Wednesday. That's the specifically multicam show. For Thursdays, that's the show like today. You get me and Will, and we get the demo whether anything, any Mevo-related app. We've got the Mevo Mic app up here. We've got everything you could want. So if you want to demo any of our apps, we can do that and show you exactly how that works. And then on Fridays, we have Joseph. He is our audio engineer. We are lucky to have him on our customer experience team. So he actually walks through the ins and outs of, one, our internal audio, and also he talks about 3.5 and USB audio, and he talks about all the different types of mics, whether it's, you know, cardioid and all that great stuff. A lot of stuff that, you know, audio engineers understand way better than me. So if you do have audio questions or audio concerns and you want specifics, tomorrow's show, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Mevo Camera, you'll be able to find Joseph talking about that. Victor says, now I want the 3-pack. I need a second job. That's fair. That's fair. You know, who knows what over the last, I was found on the Mevo group. We didn't find you two on the Mevo group, but we did post the jobs on the Mevo group. We did. And yeah, what can you do?
It's definitely exciting right now to have the 3-pack available. Me and Joe are asked just constantly, you know, when are we having sales? And so right now we have just so many sales. As you saw when Joe pulled up those slides, we have individual sales. We have, there you go. We've got an individual sales on the Mevo Start, the Ethernet power adapter, and the Mevo Start case. We have a bundle sale, desktop producer bundle, where you've got the Mevo Start, the table stand, and the Start case. And then obviously we've got the 3-pack and the referral friend.
Sorry about that. So I don't have a graphic for the 3-pack. We should have one somewhere.
That's okay. We've got actually a multicam graphic for 3-pack, so I can pull that up. There we go. So we've got a 3-pack available on Mevo.com, and so I'm really excited about having the 3-pack available, just because we are asked all the time about sales. Right now, that's a great price for 3 Mevo Starts, and now with multicam available, you have just one more reason, if not multiple reasons, to purchase that 3-pack. And as we've been showing in this show today, you can use that 3-pack for multicam, and you can use that 3-pack for OBS or other software, broadcasting software on your computer, Ecamm, vMix, what else? We've got Wirecast, OBS, Streamlabs OBS, lots and lots of options. And then of course you can also use the Mevos to just record. Maybe you want to have it as a vlogging camera. That's another great option for both the 3-pack and just the individual Mevos.
No, absolutely, and that's one of those things is that I was talking about. Basically, you can use even if say you get a 3-pack, right, and you have no desire to use multicam, you have no desire to use something like Streamlabs or Livestream Studio, whatever it might be. You do have the freedom to still. I mean, you could buy 3 of these. You can give them to 3 family members if you wanted to, and then they all have 3 webcams now. You know, advanced webcams with graphics and all of that really cool stuff, where you can actually comment and do a lot of really cool things and monitor your streams. You want to go live to Facebook. I personally got one from my niece. My niece she didn't get a 3-pack. My niece is too young for a 3-pack. She doesn't need that. But she's obsessed with things like TikTok and stuff right now. Now she can record on her Mevo Start, and then she can upload it. So if you have 3 kids who love TikTok or something like that, have them record to the SD card, edit it in the computer, and then upload it to TikTok or something. So like, there's a lot of ways that you can use the Mevo, and it's not even necessarily just streaming. It's not necessarily multicam. It's not necessarily using an advanced setup like we have here. There's a lot of ways that you can take advantage of something like that. Now, I did see a question in here that was in reference to a Facebook streaming issue that users are seeing. It does seem very specific to specific users. We haven't been able to find exactly why it's affecting specific users. But you know, if you would like to continue to help us try to diagnose it, maybe we can figure something out on our end, but it doesn't seem like it. What I would recommend is try to use Rtmp. If you're noticing that the API is failing for whatever reason, use Rtmp. If that works, then there's probably something wrong with Facebook's API for specific users. The same error is not going to affect every user. Now, if it was, and I'm not going to say the Mevo is completely unresponsible for issues, because that's just not true. But what I will say is, if you are seeing issues and then you think it's a Mevo issue, what I would recommend doing is checking out the Facebook group. If the Facebook group is blowing up, then odds are a lot more people are experiencing the same issue you are, and then that's definitely something we want to address. If it's like 1, 2, 3, less than a handful of people, then we absolutely we do want to look into it. But as it seems right, myself, Joseph and Will, we actually talked about it earlier today. Some screenshots people were sending in about Facebook errors, and none of us could recreate it. And we're going to continue to work to try to find if there's something that Mevo may be responsible for. But as it seems, Facebook's API may just be having issues with specific users. This could be based on iOS version. It could be based on app version. It could be based on geographical location. There's a lot of aspects and variables that go into using an API. And if you're interested, why you might want to use Rtmp over the API. So if you're interested in learning a little bit about that, come tune in on Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Mevo Camera. Oh, looks like we got some more multicam questions for you there, Will.
I love it. I love it. All right. Kate says, if you ever release a 6-pack, I can imagine the chuckles for the design team. Absolutely. It's funny that you said that, because we actually had some interesting talks on Slack about that. All right. Victor says, off topic, but Will, were you involved with JTV in some way? I've seen your name before. Yes. Yeah, I was part of the early Justin TV team, which is now Twitch. So I fit into Mevo really, really well. I'm really happy here.
You've got yourself a following now, too.
Yeah, there you go. I like it.
We're going to have to get Will Mevo shirts.
Victor, you've been around the streaming world for a while. I like it. Antonio says, please get landscape UI as soon as possible for the Mevo app. I assume that's Multicam app. This was an oversight, but tablet first will be a thing in the near future. So yeah, we're definitely looking into landscape mode. We're looking into full iPad, taking advantage of the full iPad screen. So all these things. There are so many great uses for multicam. You know, I talked a little bit about how you can use it for music, doing your band, DJs. Another thing that I forgot to mention is that multicam can really add to your stream, even if it's kind of like a B-roll shot. So if you have a shot of 2 band members, maybe the lead singer, then you can have another shot of the audience. Maybe you want to have a shot of the congregation. You want to have a shot of both sides of the fields and a shot of the scoreboard. If you're doing a podcast, obviously you could have a camera on each person and then a wide shot. So multicam is fantastic for so many uses, and you can really, really get creative about the camera placements. You can also do camera adjustments, which I can show you real quick. Just like in the Mevo 2.0 app, you can do the image adjustments, and it brings you into these presets. If you saw on one of my multicam shows a few weeks ago, I wanted to have sort of a dramatic shot, which I did in black and white, and that's so easy to do, just like that. You can adjust the individual settings. You can even flip the camera if you have one upside down. I know a lot of house of worships have the camera hanging from the ceiling, so that's an option in the Mevo Multicam app as well as settings. I didn't mention this, but this is a really key part. of being able to use strictly the Multicam app and not have to switch in between the Multicam app and the Mevo 2.0 app. So it's got all these basic settings that you're used to. One of the ones that I talk about the most are being able to control the lighting on the front and the back. This is really useful if you are using the Multicam app for theaters or any sort of dark situation where you don't want to have those LED lights blaring. All right, so we've got another question. Antonio says, thanks, seems like a lot are requesting for on-camera recording. There are some use cases where the user would want to from individual sources outside of Mevo. It is assumed that direct to card is better. Places have proven to be not dependable for quality and crash worthiness in the past, but that will change with the new iPad Pro and M1 chip. So lots going on here. So first off, you can definitely do on-camera recording. That is the ISO recording feature right here.
Yeah, definitely important to cover that. You can absolutely record to a single camera. It's getting that program to the single camera, which there's just a lot. That's a lot to ask for a small package to basically take the program out and save it to write it to the SD card, and then also encode its own footage and send it to the phone as well. So you're really asking a lot of both the single camera that you have it saving to, and then you're asking a lot of the phone itself. I see the desire, but as you can imagine, you're really taxing the hardware. If we can find a stable way to make it happen, I'm sure we could do it, but I don't see that being the case.
Yeah, also, I honestly, I find it extremely useful, the record to device. It's the quickest way to share the media. Obviously, doing the ISO recording saves it to the SD cards, and that's a great backup. But having the output saved to the device, I can quickly share that out to all my social networks, upload it directly to YouTube, whatever I need to do. You can also, I had somebody say that they don't have much internal storage. And of course, obviously, if you're streaming out, you can obviously download that output as well if you don't want to use the record to device or the SD recording. So you have lots of options to capture your footage. All right, Antonio says, are you sharing a screen with a Mevo app or Livestream Studio? So right now, I am sending the iPad Pro over AirPlay to an app called Reflector on our PC, and that is connected to OBS, which is showing that preview for you. Cade says, one thing with NDI, would really like to get the tally working as only one input in vMix, so changing to another NDI doesn't change the tally light.
Now, I'm going to take that one just because it's one of those things. Now, it depends what kind of software you're using, right? So if you're familiar with Facebook or not Facebook, Photoshop or something like that, you have things called layers. It's very similar when it comes to live streaming software, simply because that's not your active shot. So for example, I'm using Streamlabs OBS, so I've got probably like 10 to 12 sources in my scene. And my camera, even when you switch over to Will, for example, my camera is tucked under his video, so you can still get my audio via NDI. So just because you're not seeing the footage doesn't mean that that source isn't active. Now, if you are having issues where the tally light's not, where the source isn't active, and you know for a fact it's not active, then I would open up a ticket. And we'll try to do some testing here with vMix or whatever software you were referencing. But I would just triple check that your source is actually not active. Just because it's hidden under something, like for example, right now I said, you can see me, but there is like 10 sources below this, and they're all active. So they're all gonna have the same tally light. For example, this top camera up here, it's still very active. It's still coming in, whether it's with, Studio Monitor or whatever it might be, it's an active source. So you just need to make sure that the source is not actually actively being used. Matt Skinner says, what Rtmp encoder would you recommend? If you're asking about the encoder, the Mevo acts as an encoder, so you don't need an encoder. So the Mevo is going to actually encode and send it to Rtmp. If you're asking about an Rtmp server, well, I don't know any for Windows, but you had one. You wrote the article, right? You wrote the article about the Mac.
Yeah, we've got an OBS article that lists not only the application that uses it, but also a link to download it. So I would recommend that for Mac. I don't know the name offhand, but I know that there are more options for Windows, but I don't know if there are any good free options for Windows. I know that Mac server one is free though, so I would check that out.
Was it called Mini Server or something?
Yeah, actually that might be right.
No, it's something weird. I thought it was.
Yeah.
Not super sure on that.
Yeah.
But thank you for the questions. Let's keep those coming. I need to check the duration. We lose track of time here quite often. So it looks like we're about 50 minutes. Good stuff. Awesome. All right. So before we wrap things up, once again, I want to make sure that we cover everything, whether it's sales, because we're running out of time for those. So you got to make sure you take advantage of that. And then after that, we're going to talk about the referral program. So let me wrap that stuff up. Make sure you all have the latest and greatest, whether it's sales, the referral program, how to do it, and everything like that. So without further ado, let's jump over to that. So we've got the item sale here. You get a Mevo Start. You're going to save $20 off and get that for $379. Ethernet power adapter, save $20 on that as well for a total of $129.99. The Mevo Start case, you're going to save $10, which is quite a bit. I mean, that's 30% right there. So the Mevo Start case, you've got $19.99, saving $10. Now these are available at mevo.com, US only, ends 5/9/21. Of course, we also have the bundle sale. The bundle sale is a desktop producer bundle. Basically, this is perfect for anyone, one who wants to stream at a desk. And then not even just desk. So we talk about multicam and things like that. You can use this. I know we used it for one of our ads. We did the cooking show, and they used the table stand for the cooking show. So, but it comes with a Mevo Start table stand and Mevo Start case for $463.98. And this sale ends 5/1/21. Just a note, these are different dates, so don't get those confused. These three are 5/9. This is 5/1. So this one's going to expire a little bit before the other one.
Both and then, very soon.
Yeah. And then, I'm going to jump back over to you simply so you can show that the 3-pack, because I still don't have that set up. So let's just jump over to you for that, and you can talk about that 3-pack.
So again, we have the 3-pack available, mevo.com. As you can see, my graphic right there, you get the 3 Mevo Starts, and it's really, really cool. I also have a great shot of them, and this shot is actually using the table stand that we were just talking about, and so that's actually down there on the floor to get that shot.
Look at that, came full circle.
There you go, that's right.
All right, so then last but not least, we have the Mevo referral program, mevo.com/referral. You can sign up, get a custom coupon code, and I probably mention this every show, but I'm going to assume that we have new viewers out there, so I want to make sure I cover it. You can get a custom coupon code. You can name it after whether it's your baseball league, your sports league, whatever it might be, your city, your business, your YouTube channel, your Twitch channel, whatever it might be, your online alias. Get that custom coupon code, give it to your friend, give it to a colleague, save them 5%. At the same time, you're going to pocket 5%, earn 5% commission for every sale on mevo.com. So, as always, I want to thank you all for tuning in today for Mevo Live. I'm excited that we're back doing Mevo Lives with Will and I. It was getting a little exhausting to do it by myself, and plus it's really cool because he gets to bring the multicam package to it. I don't get to do a lot of that. Now we can concentrate on both applications. I can do the main app, he can do the multicam app. So as always, if you can tune in on Thursdays, that's the best time to get these on-screen demos. So Thursdays, remember that, Mevo Live. Of course, we will be live again tomorrow with the Mevo Audio Show with Joseph. Make sure you tune in 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you do have any issues or questions with your Mevo product, your Mevo app, or your Mevo experience in general, make sure you go to help.mevo.com and you can open up a support ticket there. So once again, thank you all for tuning in. This was Will. Thank you, Will. I appreciate you. And then myself, Joseph Capehart, and we will see you all tomorrow at the Mevo Audio Show. Thanks, everyone.